Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige Imprint, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. We have another Q&A episode today, which I am on record saying these are my favorite episodes. I just love knowing that I'm answering the questions that y'all actually want to hear about and giving recommendations that y'all actually want to hear about. So I am so excited to dive into y'all's questions today. I asked you on my Instagram stories to ask me anything, and we have questions about all kinds of things, from my home library to book recommendations to my job to everything in between, and I can't wait to dive into them with you. Actually, I can't wait so much that we're just going to dive straight in. There are so many questions. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can, so yeah, there's no time to waste. I will say, what was I going to say? What will I say? Oh, well, okay. I don't know what I was going to say. Sorry. Oh, I know. I'm back. I'm going to keep everyone anonymous because, yet again, I did not ask people to clarify if they wanted to be named or not. I need to be doing that on these episodes. But without further ado, the first question I got asked, and it is such a great question, is how do I stay motivated? I'm assuming this has to do with my job and content creation and owning a business and all that good stuff. I have two sides of a coin of answers for this for you. The first is, I think in many ways, motivation is my personality type. I am very much so, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen for myself. I think that I have that kind of grit to me where I'm like, there's no other option but to succeed, and I'm going to figure out what I have to do and do everything that I have to do to make that happen. And I think what that ultimately comes down to is, if and when you have a dream or a goal in mind that you really, really want to accomplish, the motivation is baked into the process because there's no other option but to achieve what you want. Not to get wee-woo right out the gate, but it's like, for me, the motivation exists in the pursuit of the goal. Like, I want this thing so badly that there's no other option but to wake up every morning and fight for it. So that's the one thing, but that's not to say that there aren't days where motivation escapes me and I just feel like laying in bed and not working 12-hour days and all of that good stuff. And my answer for those days is, one, be sure that you are building in time for rest and relaxation. This is kind of a do as I say, not as I do. However, I'm doing much, much better. I've hired people to be on my team to help me and put me in positions where I can take a bit of a break. But yeah, it's taking a break is key. And then the other element of this that ties into what I just finished saying is, like, when you want it that badly, motivation really isn't even part of the conversation, because the only way to achieve your goals is by aligning them with your morals and values so that motivation doesn't even matter. So for example, I've seen people say, if you struggle to go to the gym, don't make the goal go to the gym. Make the goal something that you can't negotiate. I have to be healthy. I have to do these things. Or I don't know, waking up early. Don't make the goal be waking up early. Make the goal something tied to your morals and values or dreams. And that will make motivation almost be irrelevant, because the only way to succeed is by doing those things, which ultimately, henceforth, therefore, requires motivation. Okay, so that was wee-woo out the gate. Yeah, that was a little wee-woo out the gate. But hopefully that answers your question. I hate to say that I just am this way, but to an extent, I am just this way, which is such a blessing for this job. So, this is actually my sister-in-law who asked this. She asked if y'all could see my needlepoint whips, work in progresses, which actually ties into a question I have up here, are what are my hobbies outside of reading? So let's answer those together. One, I love needlepoint. I am all about an analog, what I think people are referring to as old lady hobbies. My best friend, I was on the phone with her. She's been on this podcast, so everyone say hello to her. And if you haven't watched her episode, you absolutely should, because she gets so much lore out of me in that episode. I think the episode's called There Wouldn't Be This If There Hadn't Been Her. or something along the lines of that. But we were on the phone talking about this, and she was like, reading really is the gateway into all of the old lady hobbies. First it's reading, and then it's like needlepoint or knitting, and then there's like puzzle books and all of like Sudoku and all that. And we were just giggling about that, but it is so, so true. I think with my job being online and spending so much time on my phone, I'm really seeking out hobbies that are off of the phone. So that includes, but it's not limited to, needlepoint. I've been doing smaller size projects like bag charms and those kind of things. Next up on my goals, I have two kind of projects that I'm interested in. I would love to needlepoint a passport cover before I go to France this summer. And then I would also love to needlepoint my own Kindle case, like a Kindle sleeve. I think that would be really, really fun. So those are kind of my two on the horizon projects, but right now I am working on a stamp. I will post them on my stories, and I will call out this moment in the podcast so y'all can go back and take a look. But I love that. And then I love a puzzle book, like a physical puzzle book, whether it be a Sudoku book. I'm so into Myrtle right now. I've posted about it on my stories a few times. It's like a murder mystery puzzle game. And here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I talked about Myrtle, and then I checked the USA Today bestsellers the next week, and Myrtle was on it. So, you tell me. You tell me what that means. The people love Myrtle. It is such a fun puzzle game to get off my phone. I could spend hours just solving those little murder mystery puzzles. So, I have a few puzzle games like linked on my profile if you are in the market to get started, but it's just such a fun thing to do while you drink your coffee in the morning or before you go to bed instead of scrolling on your phone. So needlepoint, puzzle books are my two big things. I also teach cycling classes. If you watch my vlogs, sometimes you will pick up on that lore. So I've been doing that for years now. I think 4 or 5 years. I love it. It's rhythm based, and I grew up doing music, so that's really fun. I am also super, super intrigued by and interested in pop music criticism and consuming that kind of media. I think it's extremely thoughtful, and oddly enough, the music publishing industry and the book publishing industry move in tandem in many ways. And so I really, really love kind of studying music criticism in an effort to help me be better at my job in the publishing space. So those are my main hobbies. I've been kind of getting into Pilates. I like going on walks. I, of course, like online shopping. I love hair and makeup. So yeah, anything to get me off my phone, I'm all about it, girl. Like all about it. So that's a little bit about my life outside of this space lately, which we love. Okay, next question is where to start with Laura Pavlov. What a lovely, lovely, lovely question. So I've read 3 series by Laura Pavlov, and she has an extremely extensive backlist. So what I can tell you is I started with the Cottonwood Cove series, and then I read the following series, Loving Romeo, Wild River. The name is escaping me right now. I'm staring at them on my shelves. And then I read the Rosewood River series. I love the Rosewood River series. I know I talk about it regularly. So I would say that's a great place to start, and you can work your way back. I'm sure Laura has an optimized reading order for cameo appearances as well. So go and check out her Instagram or her website for that. But I love the order that I read them in, and it's absolutely, she writes really, really phenomenally for the interconnected standalone experience. So if there's a book that is really intriguing you by her, I say absolutely pick it up. But otherwise, maybe give Rosewood River a go and work your way back. I am sure that is going to be a slightly hot take, but that's my take nonetheless. So that's my notes on Laura Pavlov. There are a ton of questions about how did I get started with my job. I do have an entire podcast episode dedicated to how I started all the way to me quitting my job. So if you want 40 minutes of that, be sure to go check that out. But the long and short of it is this. I started a Bookstagram in March of 2024. Yes, March of 2024, kind of as a hobby thing, but always in the back of my mind being like, could I do something with this? I don't know. And per my very first email of this episode, I just have this kind of thing about myself where it's once I commit to something, it is guns a-blazing, we're going hard, I'm all in on things. And so I was very much so all in on this. And I was actually making edit content in the beginning, which don't even try to go back and look. It's not there. You will not find it. It was a crime. And then I started doing lip sync and kind of aesthetic type content, like pop-up content, which I still do occasionally. And then in July or August of 24, my family was like, you need to start posting on Book Talk. Like, why are you not on TikTok? What's the deal? So then I kind of shifted my focus to TikTok, and I really, really got into talking videos. And I really think talking videos move the needle for me. I know this is not the question about authors, but I'm getting there. Like, this is all tied in, I promise. So I started talking videos, and then I would say late August, September, October, the timeline is a little fuzzy to me now. I started posting 3 times a day, every day on TikTok, and I did not miss a day for about a year. And that was the heaviest lift I have ever had in terms of content. And that continued through the Page and Print Awards, my first year of that in 2024, which I then started posting again on Instagram. So I was now cross-posting everything on Instagram and TikTok, because for a time I totally abandoned my Bookstagram and was just doing Book Talk. Okay, now we're in February of 2025, so a year ago. Oh, this is crazy that it's only been a year. And Molly Goins and I had kind of picked up a DMing acquaintanceship type thing, and that ultimately turned into a bit of a friendship. We both live in Tennessee and have quite a bit in common, so we were chatting quite a bit, and she was like, would you ever be interested in PAing, essentially? I was like, sure. And right out the gate with her, I just jumped straight into business strategy and kind of thinking outside of the box and what it would look like to really accelerate growth for her. So I quickly turned from a PA into a business manager and business strategist. And that just happened super naturally with my personality. And she, we'd been kind of exploring how and why I had success quickly on my Page and Print accounts, and how could that be translated over for authors. So that was in February. And then by April, I went on my very first Fiction Found retreat and met Torianne. And Torianne and I had a ton of conversations that weekend. That's our friendiversary, if you will. And now, as many of you know, she's my partner in crime. She and Molly are just like, they are my gals. So it's so funny that we're coming up on a year of me knowing both of them. It's just crazy. So in April, Tori was like, do you want to do this full time? Like, do you want to take this full time? And I was like, yeah, I really, really think I do. And in the meantime, I started working with Tilly H. Colson in March, I believe. And everything just very, very quickly escalated after that retreat. Tori kind of like lit a fire under my butt. And I started telling my clients, the few that I had at the time, I'm doing this. I'm going to make this happen. I was guns a-blazing. I chatted a bit with a few of my favorite authors and kind of just like got some advice and tips, etc. And then by mid-May, I had gotten to the point where I was out earning myself at my corporate job, and I felt confident in the contracts that I had to move forward. So I will say, building a reputation for myself, speaking to the camera, and having people really feel like they knew me for over a year before I even started offering services, I think really helped me fill up my client list quicker, and kind of building a reputation for myself that way. And then from there, it was just word of mouth. My clients who had good experiences with me, sharing that with other clients and moving forward. And I also quickly realized that being a true PA wasn't the best fit for me, and that my strengths lie in being a strategist and a publicist and managing like a COO and managing operations for people. And so my best advice is find what you do best. Every person has a skill set that is of value to others. So if you're a great editor, offer graphics packages. If you are a great organized person, then being a PA is probably going to be an amazing fit for you. If you are like me and you're like, I am an out of the box thinker, I have the wildest, craziest ideas, if someone would just take a chance on these ideas, I'm sure it would work, that kind of thing, then maybe strategy is more your thing. And maybe it's none of the above. Maybe you're a good editor. Maybe, I don't know, like there are so many talents that you have, I am sure, that you could offer to someone. And so I highly just recommend kind of auditing your skill set, and that's vulnerable, and you have to be kind to yourself to do that. But it really, really is a matter of what are you good at and what relationships do you have? Build up your community, build up your relationships, build up your reputation. I really, and this comes with it too, and it's really hard to say, but I think being kind and me being a book recommender, not a book reviewer, and never speaking ill about books on my page, and being really thoughtful with the way I approach books from the beginning, and kind of having that digital footprint and reputation really helped. It's not required, but that's just what I did and what I think worked well for me. So it's all of those things combined into the perfect storm of I truly believe that this is what I was meant to be doing and the perfect answer to my skill sets and passions. So that is how I started up my role. I know that was a bit of I just dumped that whole journey on you. But what I always know, and when I say like I'm a professional reader as a hook or what have you, it did not happen overnight. And there was 9 months to a year of 80 to 100 hour work weeks. I would work by 8 to 5, I would clock out, and I would work again 40, 50, 60 more hours on page and print, on my clients' work, until I got to the point where it made sense for me to no longer be at my corporate job. So I would say there is a certain level of time commitment and energy commitment to turn it. It just didn't come easy is I guess the other piece of this. So it all comes back to kind of what I said in the beginning about being motivated is you can do anything if you want it badly enough. And I wanted it badly enough. I will tell you that for free. So that's kind of fun. My business has grown and evolved since then, and it's just been amazing. I've hired 2 team members. I have a PA and a marketing manager who takes on social media clients. Now that I'm no longer offering social media services, my PA is amazing. Shout out. Hello. I hope you're here, and if you are, love you down. Yeah, adding team members has been amazing. I have really, really exciting things coming for all of us. I'm going to be having these conversations way more in depth in a very exciting way here soon. So stay tuned for new business things coming from me that might just benefit us all. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Okay, stay tuned. Let's see. Next questions. Shelf links. Another thing I will need to post on my story. But if you watch my content, if you don't, at Page and Print, literally everywhere. But I love my bookshelves. My bookshelves are so amazing. I have the IKEA Billy Bookcases, just standard, lovely IKEA Billy Bookcases. I have 2 extenders on top of them. So I have 4 Billys that are 7 feet tall, and then I have 2 extenders on top of all 4 Billys. So it's 9 feet of beautiful bookcases. I'm staring at them now. They're amazing. And I actually was able to find snap in place crown molding on Etsy, and I really think that brings this space together. So I love the crown molding, and they're specifically made for Billy Bookcases, so look that up on Etsy for sure if you want to kind of elevate your bookcases. I think that's really fun, and they're a classic for a reason. I really, really love mine. Highly recommend them. I think it's amazing, and there's so many ways to elevate them. I think because they are so popular, they're just like so many hacks and things to make them be exactly what you want them to be. So love my Billy Bookcases. Next up, we have a request for a recommendation of a motorcycle club. Book recommendation. Okay. So Clifton Forge by Devaney Perry is, I believe, the only MC romance that I have truly read. More of like, how do I get into working with authors full time? I think it's just building up my presence on the book space, as I mentioned, and building trust and rapport with those authors. And then when it makes sense for them and they have a space in their business for me, being the person that they call. So everything you do behind the scenes, every networking DM you send, good or bad, like everything you do, I think is kind of setting up your reputation with authors and in the bookish space. So being intentional about that. How do I manage life as well as reading? That's a good question. I'm really, really working on that. At a point, I wasn't. At a point, I was working every moment of every day, and that's what it took at the time. That was what was required to succeed and to get this job. And that was just the truth of the matter. It was, I work my corporate job, I come home, and I work this Page and Print author services job for 4 hours, and then I would read for 2 hours, and then I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and I'd do it again. And on the weekends, I would work an 8-hour day for the Page and Print business, and then I would read for 4 hours at night, and it was just constant, and I eat, sleep, and breathe books. Now, I've actually, having hired this team and having my incredible PA and getting in a place and building systems and SOPs, I hate to say it, and really treating this like a business, I have been able to, I will finish my desk work at 3 and I'll read from 3 to 5. And that building in reading as part of my job, because it is, instead of treating it as an after school activity, has been really, really important for me. And I've been doing that in 2026. It's only been a few weeks, but it has changed the game. You'll notice in my reading recap episode from last week, like I've been able to read so much more making this adjustment, because now that reading is part of my job, I am able to treat it as my job. So hopefully that makes sense. But the other thing is, it is shocking when I am not on my phone. I got a brick. This is not an ad. But when my phone shut down and I have nothing else to do, there is a lot more time to read. Like a lot. And I don't watch TV or movies or anything. So my media consumption comes from reading. So between audiobooks, not being on my phone, dedicating 2 hours every day to reading has really, really been how I've been able to manage it all. And it's like there's 24 hours in a day. That's a lot of hours. And I'm going to intentionally use each and every one of them. And so working for 8 hours and then reading for 2, it's like there's 14 hours left. And I can do with them as I want. So, and I always, 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 always know. We are dinkwads. My husband and I, we are dual income, no kids, with a dog. And so I think that the fact that we don't have kids at this time, when you are a parent, your priorities change in just such a major way. And I do want to acknowledge that as well. So at this time, my time is mine. And this is just the season of life I'm in. So that's kind of where I find that balance. Great question. And I'm not sure if that was exactly what you were looking for, but that's my answer nonetheless. What else? What else do y'all have? I don't read a lot of fantasy or romantasy, but what is my favorite? My favorite romantasy at the moment is the Everking series by L.J. Evans. I love that series. It is fae and pirates, and it's like Pirates of the Caribbean meets the fae world. It's morally gray, but he's also a broken hero. Childhood friends to enemies. There's kidnapping. It's all these things. 3-book series, or I guess actually I haven't checked in a while. Maybe the 4th one is out now. It got picked up traditionally, so the publication dates have kind of moved around. But I love the Everking series. Highly, highly recommend if you haven't read it. I've read that. I have read Quicksilver. I haven't read Brimstone yet, so I need to get on that. I've, of course, read Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. Oh, Shield of Sparrows is one of my all-time faves. I'm so excited for April to be getting book 2 in the Shield, or yeah, it's the Shield of Sparrows series, I believe is what it's being called. So really love those. I love romantasy, especially in the winter months. It's just something cozy about it. I almost always do them on audio. I'm an auditory learner by a landslide, and so with world building, I tend to just do better with an audio. So that's my recommendation if you haven't read that one yet. Have I ever regretted accepting an ARC? I have overextended myself ARC reading. So with that, I will say yes. I have just committed to too many things, and so perhaps we're getting in that way, but that is in no way the author's fault. I think I love all the books I read for the most part, and I think a lot of that has to do with I love, and I approach books from a place of empathy where my goal is to understand these characters and understand people in my life who might be more like these characters, and just I come at reading fiction with a sense of curiosity where I truly believe that there's always something I can learn from books. And so that, and I know what I like and what I don't like, and I know my no-go tropes, and I know plot points that I just won't jive with. So I try to do my research before I read a book or sign up for an ARC. So I very, very rarely will read a book, ARC or not, that I don't like, just because I think I know what I like. I pick up what I like. I think I am able to have very realistic expectations about what I'm going into. You know, it's interesting. I think about this a lot. I think expectations often are detrimental to experiencing things. Like when I think about, The Life of a Showgirl, I in my brain for months had an idea of what that album would be, and on release day it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I love that album, but on the very moment when I was listening to it for the first time, I almost felt a sense of disappointment because it wasn't what I had made up in my head. Does that make sense? And so I think expectations can be detrimental for an anticipated release as well. And that's sometimes why a blurb and trope are helpful, because it kind of helps you know what you're getting into. So I try not to place any expectations on my reads before going into them as best as I possibly can. It's really hard when something's highly anticipated from a favorite author or new series or what have you, or it comes highly recommended. So I would say that's something that I am pretty strong in as a reader, is being able to manage my expectations with reading. So I would say no. Probably not. I haven't. But it's a great question. And hopefully that was, I don't really have tea of like, yes, I did. And it was, whatever. I don't know. I like being happy. Just like, I like being happy. I like enjoying what I read. So I don't know. I very rarely DNF too, as you'll find. And I think that just all ties in together about expectations and approaching things. It's just my approach to reading. So great question though. Double single parent Rex, please. The only one that comes to mind off the top of the dome is Sawyer by Jessica Peterson, which I love a double single parent. I think it's so fun, and getting to watch the children interact is so fun, and kind of introducing members of the family and all those kind of things. Yeah, I'm looking around my shelves and nothing's super jumping out at me as double single parent. Man, hey, once again, asking the team, asking the book club here to drop Rex. That's a great question. All right, guys, we're getting there. Billionaire romance recommendations. The billionaire genre is kind of complicated, yes, because it's like billionaire, millionaire, logistics. What do we mean by billionaire? Some people are like billionaire with a capital B. Some people are like, as long as money is no object, I don't really care if it's a billionaire with a B or not. So I would say some billionaires that come to mind are, of course, Anna Wong has some beautiful billionaires. I really, really loved King of Envy. I've been talking about it quite a bit lately, but that book really talk about expectations, exceeded my expectations. And I really, really loved that book. So that's always fun. I read a lot of small town, as y'all know, and I love when a billionaire moment is thrown into a small town, citing like Beautiful Exile by Catherine Cowles. Books like Forgotten Desires by Corinne Michaels is another small town billionaire that's really fun. Sebastian by Tilly H. Colson is a small town billionaire. So I really, really do like those. And then like a lot of athletes oftentimes are like Money is No Object. In a Rush by Kate Canterbury, he's a professional football player but also has like an extensive financial portfolio, so that's kind of same type beat. So I kind of get my billionaire fix through my small town when they pop up. Oh, the Siblings of Air series by Jenna Lockwood, phenomenal, angsty billionaire romance. That's true billionaire city, top to bottom. Loved it. A lot of like romantasy kind of feels billionaire because they're princes or kings or fae. So I don't know. I kind of get my billionaire in unconventional ways, if that makes sense, which is fun. I like just when I'm reading a small town and then money becomes no object. It's so fun. What else? Underrated romantic suspense recommendations. Ooh, okay. The Badge by Lena Hendricks. I'm going to rapid fire for you. The Badge by Lena Hendricks. Silver Shadows by Tilly H. Colson. Destiny by Kay Knightley. Oh, The Lair. The Lair is crazy good. It's single POV from our FNC's perspective, and she is the child of a family vlogging family, and she's running away from her mom to like escape the family vlog. So good. So good. So those are a few off the top of my head. What do I think about the upcoming Briar U series on Amazon Prime? Am I excited? So, fun fact, I've only read The Deal. Please don't come for me. I have been told Torianne is like, you have to read the rest of these books before this comes out. So I will. Fear not. But I love that books are being adapted into television and that all of our favorite authors and our favorite stories are going on the big screen. I think, is the, tale as old as time that the book is always better probably true? Well, sure. But it is so fun to see, especially in the wake of heated rivalry and seeing these adaptations and the love that it brings to the bookish space. Like, we have room for everyone here. And in a world where reading is becoming a lost art, I am all about having people's introduction and entry into reading romance be these television shows. Like, it excites me. And I think, it all comes back. I think a lot of these things come back to the same things about, the motivation and the expectations. Like, I think this is another scenario where it's really, really easy to get lost in the expectations of what it's going to be. So I'm just going into it with like, all right, like, it is what it is. It's going to be an introduction to many people into the genre of romance, and to that I clap and cheer. And other than that, I'm trying to just curb expectations because, as we've established, expectations are the thief of enjoyment. So, yes. Okay. Let's see. All the other questions are, how did I get started? This one question says, is the pay comparable to a day job? So, yes, I waited until I out-earned myself in this role to be able to leave my corporate job. That was really important to me. But I mean, I'm still working 60 hours a week. So I think, again, when it comes to expectations and is this my dream job? Yes. Do I love every single moment of this job? Yes. Is my worst day at this job better than my best day at my corporate job? Yes. So all those things, but also I'm still working 60 hours a week, which is fine because I love it and that's what I want. But I think like I didn't like retire into this job, I suppose. Like, even though I have it and it's my dream, it's not sunshine and rainbows. But yes, I do often get asked to like about the income streams and those kind of things. The majority of my job is my chief operations officer work for my clients. And then I do make a bit of money from social media, whether that be paid partnerships. I'm not part of the Creator Fund. Many have asked about that. I'm not a part of the Creator Fund. So partnerships are where that social media income would come through. And then per my last email, I have something exciting coming. That will be another pillar of that as well. So yes, I think it is important I didn't want social media to be the entirety of the job because it's very inconsistent. One month could be absolutely phenomenal and the next there's no partnerships. So I wanted to be sure I had a consistent monthly income, and that's where that author work came in and utilizing my skills set and all that good stuff. So this is a longer one, but I hope this answered all your questions. It was a bit rambly, but rambly's fun sometimes. Sometimes we must ramble. Sometimes it must be done. So that concludes our quarterly Q&A episode. Thank you to everyone who asked a question. These are my favorite. I love answering the questions that y'all want to have answered. So thank you so much for being here, and I cannot wait for all the exciting things we have coming ahead. Thank you so much for the love and support on Catherine's episode, by the way. This is the first recording I've had since that has been out. So thank you for that. And I will wrap it up here. Thank you as always for spending your time with me. And I'll see you in the next one.